This is quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, what a day. This is our second historic day, something that has not happened in 100 years exactly. The speakership going to another ballot, and that's more than one ballot. So here we are after six, and McCarthy has not been able to win a single round, obviously, or we would have a speaker by now. This is just a moment where one has to wonder, will we be in a constitutional crisis? Or are we already? Because there is not a new Congress that's been sworn in. The speaker has to be elected before these new members are sworn in. This is a highly unusual time, and anyone's guess is as good as mine, because truly nobody knows until these members get back and decide what they're going to do. One would have thought that last night some better decisions would have been made.
Interesting. I mean, to be fair, our Conservative Party here in the UK has booted out 2 prime ministers this year, so we know something about turbulence. What does happen now, and how much longer can Kevin McCarthy stick with this? I mean, 6 votes, and he's not got the job yet. Embarrassment tips into what, do you think?
Well, the embarrassment is not just for Kevin McCarthy, it's for the Republican Party writ large, as well as for our country. This is a moment where I think this is quite embarrassing for us as a nation on the world stage. And that brings me great disappointment, because I'm a very proud American. And I got to tell you, as somebody who served 2 Republican members of the House of Representatives myself over a decade ago, I was a senior congressional aide. I know just how things are done up there, and I know they're done in a bipartisan fashion. We don't get our laws passed until both sides come to the middle and agree. And so in general, what could be done is some bipartisanship could happen here. We could see a deal brokered with either Democrats saying we'll go help out a moderate Republican, somebody who's more center of Kevin McCarthy, rather than somebody who's more right of him. Or we could we could potentially even see Republicans crossing over with just a handful of votes needing to go over to Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat, and making him speaker. That's a bit more unusual. But right now, the idea of a consensus candidate coming from the right seems kind of unusual. Somebody who is, again, part of this block of 20 people who don't want to make McCarthy speaker. But it could be any of these 3 scenarios.
Yeah, can you imagine Hakeem Jeffries getting the job, the New York Democrat, as you said, who's at the moment getting more votes than Kevin McCarthy? There's the irony when finally the Republicans, win in the midterms. I know you're no fan of Donald Trump. I think you set up an organisation for Republican women for Joe Biden, didn't you? But what's he had to say about it? Because it is the right wing, is it not, or the ultra right wing of the Republicans who are the people standing in Kevin McCarthy's way?
Yes, in that faction, many of them came from the House Freedom Caucus. And so just to be clear, it's not all of the House Freedom Caucus that is standing against McCarthy. In fact, the majority of the Freedom Caucus members are voting for McCarthy. These are just a few people who are saying that we don't want an establishment candidate like McCarthy. We don't want somebody who's going to broker deals with the Democrats. That's what they feel that McCarthy will do. They don't trust him. And this moment is looking like the Democrats don't trust McCarthy either, because they could have formed a coalition with him by now. They could have brokered a backroom deal with him prior to yesterday and also last night, but that also hasn't happened. The interesting thing about Trump here, though, is it seems his touch has no effect on this race. He has come out and said he supports McCarthy and supposedly is saying it again today that people should get behind McCarthy and make him the speaker. But it doesn't seem like, again, these 20-some holdouts want to listen to the former president, even though they likely support him and would support his 2024 bid for the White House.
The former Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, Democrat, of course, will be sitting there rolling her eyes, won't she? But this is a really crucial role in American politics, is it not? I've seen White House Down on a number of occasions. You can tell how important it is from that film. But, tell us why it's so significant.
Well, the speaker holds such great power in our system. I mean, they're in line to the presidency. There's no question about it. About what the speaker does, sets the tone for the legislative agenda, sets the legislative calendar, makes all determinations. I mean, you've got to kiss the ring of the speaker to do anything, it seems like, in Congress. So the speaker is this truly important figure. And our House of Representatives has been called the People's House, right? So this person has tremendous sway, even though both of our chambers are equal. And this is a situation where, look, Kevin McCarthy, I was an aide, a young aide, and then a senior aide, watching him in his rise to the leadership of the Republicans in the House. He's wanted this forever. He has been auditioning for this forever. He's actually even put in the work, to be fair. He's traveled to so many districts across the nation. But it's what presumptive speakers do. They go out there and they really rally for the party and for the candidates. And he was excited about the Republicans taking on the leadership of the House. And even though it was a very narrow majority that they're holding right now, I see this moment and I think, gosh, Kevin McCarthy, it probably would have been better if the Republicans hadn't won the House at all, to have such a slim majority and to have what I call the clown car caucus really getting in the way of his speakership.
Well, I read that the longest ever limbo was between 1855 and 1856, when a Massachusetts representative took 133 rounds, apologies, and some 2 months of voting. Very quickly, in one word, what round of voting will this reach a conclusion at, do you think?
Well, I'm not in the predictions game. I'm in the politics game. So I got to be honest with you. I was wrong when I said the other night that I thought this would be 2 to 3 ballots and it would be McCarthy's. Right now, I'm actually, my mind is really going to a place where I think that something's got to happen on the coalition front, that maybe there's going to be somebody else than McCarthy that actually takes this thing home. And it could be a Republican very well.
OK, it's going to be fascinating, isn't it? Rina Shah, Republican strategist there in the politics game. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you.
I said to Russia now, and the Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced a warship armed with new hypersonic cruise missiles has been sent on active duty, and he claims